Holy forking shirt balls, this game is good. This is so beautiful. My goodness, there is just so much to like about this game. Hey everyone, Jack from Fun My Life here discussing Kena, Bridge of Spirits, a wonderful indie game developed by Ember Lab and released back in September 2021 for the PS4, PS5, and PC. Having just finally gotten around to playing it and completing it on the PS5, I have to say this is a game that needs to be talked about more, as this game just kicks so much ass. I will be going over what to expect with this game in regards to its design, graphics, music, story, and more without getting into any spoilers. Consider this a review of one of my personal favorite games of 2021 that I just finally got around to playing last week. Let me know if you have played this game in the comments below and what you think about it. Also, please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's dive in. Kena, Bridge of Spirits is a 3D action-adventure game that borrows many elements from many of the genre's most successful and elite games. Kena's control and navigation among its environments is reminiscent of platform games from the PS2 era, like Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet & Clank, as her control and tight platforming is quite similar to those PS2 classics. Regarding combat, the battle mechanics on display here with Kena is quite similar to those of God of War that came out in 2018, and even to some extent the Souls franchise of games, as perfect dodging for iframes and parrying attacks plays a significant role in Kena's surprisingly challenging combat, especially on the higher difficulty settings. There are even very light doses of Metroidvania elements in the main hub of the game, called the Village, where you frequently return to, unlocking more and more of it to explore, having acquired new gadgets and moves to progress further into its sprawling corners. Kena, Bridge of Spirits is very much a game that wears its influences on its sleeves everywhere it goes, and it does an incredible job at properly paying respect to the games it is inspired by. Let me set up the story briefly. You play as Kena, a quiet and strong-willed spirit guide whose purpose is to peacefully guide lost and restless spirits to the spirit realm. Taking place at and around a tranquil and bucolic mountainside village enveloped in pockets of darkness and decay, Kena sets out to restore peace to the land by dispelling the land's curses and guiding spirits to their rightful resting place. Along the way, Kena comes into contact with a few spirits who help Kena with assisting her in ridding the village and its surrounding areas of dark corruption. Some of these spirits may gift Kena with new moves and abilities, while others may try to stand in the way of her as they have gone mad and restless, culminating in some of the game's most challenging and demanding boss fights. Very early on in the story, once the player reaches the end of the cave, Kena is welcomed by a creature known as the Rot, who aid Kena in ridding the land of its curse. These Rot are super cute. I mean, look at these little fellas. These Rot are instrumental in aiding Kena in battle, as the more you collect, the more abilities you can acquire, but more on that later.
Something tells me you did not come to our village looking for forest creatures.
Hello, Spirit. I seek passage to the sacred mountain shrine.
In all, the story is so incredibly well done here, as all the characters are acted properly and the beautiful Pixar-like cinematography elevates this game to god-tier levels of art direction and animation. Just by looking at this footage, you can tell that there was so much love poured into this game and its cinematics, and instantly leaves a great first impression, as these cutscenes never get boring or dull, even all the way to the end of this nearly 12-hour tale. The delightful music seems to kick in at just the right time, emphasizing certain story beats with grace and whimsical charm. Kena Bridge of Spirits is a game that pulls its inspiration with its setting and culture from Japan and Bali, and many music tracks in the game feature instruments from those regions, creating a unique blend of culture that makes this game really stand out. There is just so much to love about this story, and while it is not very story heavy, what's here is done incredibly well, although there are still some questions to be had by the end of the game. Let's hope that some of the loose ends and backstories of some of the characters can be more fully fleshed out with a potential sequel or TV series in this universe. Now, how cool would that be? Before we talk about the gameplay, let's talk about them graphics. Holy heck, does this game look absolutely gorgeous. You know what this reminds me of? The Spyro Reignited trilogy and Crash Insane trilogy come to mind with their cartoonish aesthetic and bright and cheerful environments. Couple this color with a wonderful and whimsical soundtrack, and you've got a video game that really nails its identity. Forests are lush and vibrant with greenery and lovely barkwork for the trees. The ever-imposing mountain looms in the distance, shrouding the land in mystery and beauty. The game's soundtrack expertly conveys the cheerful hospitality of the village, contrasting heavily to the more sinister tunes of a rain-drenched forest. The game's central hub, the village, is a massive sprawl that stretches far and wide, revealing more and more of itself as you progress further into the story, giving the player incentives to keep returning to uncover its secrets. Main objective areas sprout in all directions around the village, giving a sense of seamless scale to the game. Although the game isn't particularly massive, it certainly is large and contains so much stuff to see, do, and collect that it creates the illusion that this game world is far larger than it actually is. To help aid you on your quest, Kena is accompanied by her trusty magical staff, capable of dealing harsh strings of damage out on your enemies. The various rot that the player comes across in the game world are also invaluable, as they primarily serve as a means to unlocking more abilities and courage, a resource she can tap into while in battle to unleash rot attacks and other rot features. Courage, identified by the yellow circles here on the screen, can be gained by landing attacks on enemies, and once accumulated, can in turn be redeemed for a strong rot attack, or by throwing mobs of rot at enemies, paralyzing them for a few seconds, securing heal points on the battlefield, and more. Rot can also be used outside of battle to interact with objects, like lifting up things like blocks to help create platforms for Kena to climb over and reach otherwise inaccessible areas. There are numerous puzzles that utilize the rot in this game, and the puzzles here are all excellent, rewarding the player with satisfaction upon completing them, while not being so difficult as to make players want to pull out their hair. Please, don't do that. As of now, there are no hints as to how to complete puzzles, but take the time to observe your surroundings, and I'm sure it will all click. Rot can also be used to form a creature that can be used to help in combat or to aid in clearing out corruption on the field. Upon ridding the land of corruption, players can further explore these restored environments, hiding some goodies for completionists to find. A little further in, Kena unlocks the ability to use a bow and arrow, granting her with a slew of long-range attacks to lay waste on her enemies. Even further on, players will get access to using bombs and a dash ability that can be used to both attack enemies and evade attacks. The combat in Kena Bridge of Spirits is excellent, giving the player the control to lock on to individual targets to dish out damage. Kena may use a combination of light attacks, heavy strikes, and charged up hits to enact damage on foes, along with the aforementioned bow and arrow, bomb, and dash attack. There aren't exactly a lot of combat moves that Kena has at her disposal, but she has enough to make you feel quite powerful and versatile by the end of the game. It has to be said though, that at the beginning of the game, especially at higher difficulty levels, Kena's few attacks learned really make the game feel insurmountable at times, making Kena's dodging and parrying maneuvers essential in order to progress. Even the later bosses and encounters in the game provide plenty of challenge on the easy and normal modes. Kena controls beautifully as well, as she can run, sprint, jump, double jump, dodge, grapple to grapple points with her arrow, and more. Bombs allow Kena to traverse magical platforms, leading to some of the game's best secrets, and are essential when progressing through certain areas of the story. This game just has a great amalgamation of gameplay and variety to it, as Kena can jump and traverse precarious platforms just as well as Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter, and can handle her magical staff and bow and arrow just as well as some modern action games. As for gamers who simply love to collect stuff, Kena Bridge of Spirits has you covered. There is an abundance of stuff to collect, just like the classic platforming games of yore, like Rot. Hats that you can use to dress up each of your Rot. Village talismans you can find that unlocks more areas in the village. Meditation spots that increase your maximum health. Corrupted chests that spawn enemies and upon defeating them, reward you with prizes, and more. There are 100 Rot to collect, as well as numerous other collectibles, rounding out a very full list of quality collecting to all the completionists out there. In all, Kena Bridge of Spirits is an exceptionally well-made game, and deserves all the attention it got last year when it came out, and I really hope Ember Labs makes more games in this universe, as it is so rich with excellent storytelling and fantastic imagery. If you haven't picked this game up yet, I urge you to do so if you are a fan of action-adventure games, as it handles everything it does with so much grace and finesse. The game's cutscenes and art direction are perhaps the most eye-catching and breathtaking scenes we have seen come out of a video game, and the variety of gameplay on offer, along with a fantastic setting and world, help round out Kena Bridge of Spirits as a worthy contender for Game of the Year consideration of last year, and simply one of the best action-adventure games to have come out in a long time. Kena Bridge of Spirits is a wonderful game, but what do you think? Have you played it before? Or are games like this not to your fancy? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below, and remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, stay safe and FML!